That was.
Well, here we are. First time host, Max Solo. Yes. YSN Pooch on this one, putting me in charge of something. There's Quinn Pushgard, Jeff Betos, Coach Seidel, and Ty Bartell. That's kind of weird. Seidel, Bartell kind of flows together a little bit there. So first things first, how's everybody?
Doing real good.
Friday edition, holding down the fort. DJ and Richie are down in Louisiana somewhere, and they got YSU baseball going on. 5-2 is the score. I think it's in the fourth inning last time I checked here a couple minutes ago. And they're playing Nicholls State. So hopefully our Penguins can pull off a dub here and then head on to tonight to play LSU in a battle at 8 o'clock that you can catch here at ysnlive.com. So today, National Day, it is National Pistachio Day. So, Quinn, do you like pistachio? Are you a big nut guy?
No, not at all. Thank you, Billy, for that, by the way. Not at all. Because of
what about you?
Doing, that's why I don't like nuts.
What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm a big pistachio guy.
You like what about the pistachio ice cream? I hear a lot of people really enjoy the ice cream version of it. I'm not a fan of that.
No, I'm not a fan of that at all. That's terrible.
And Coach Seidel shaking his head. Yes, he's got a. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the pistachio ice cream. Not all the time, but occasionally.
See, I enjoy them. I like them. Ty, what about you?
Yeah, I usually just eat them. You got to have them in the shell, too. If you eat them unshelled, there's something wrong with you. I never had them with the ice cream, though. Maybe something I'll have to try in the future. But, yeah, definitely pistachios. Got to have the shell on them, though, for sure.
Man, for years I used to have this crystal, I don't know, device basically. It just sat around the kitchen, and it was always had like pistachios or M&Ms or something like that. And I used to just pick them up by the handfuls. And even to this day, I got a bag out there in the kitchen that I'll munch on late night snacks where I try to be a little bit healthier. As we all know, that's not really the case with this body, but at times when I start to feel guilty, I'll say, let me have some of these pistachios, because I do like them, and they're pretty good for you. But I've never had the ice cream version, but I do know Handles has it, and I should try it sometime. So, all right, on to the next here. Let's bring it up. OSHA, 25% cap increase. They're going to allow fans 25% for indoor events and 30% outdoor by Governor DeWine. What do you think about all this? Let's go to Ty.
Well, yeah, when I heard about this too, it kind of makes you wonder, where's how much further can we go with this, and where is this all going to lie? Where is it playing towards? I guess, with professional sports season coming up, and of course, high school football, how big it is in the area. Is this a sign of things to come? These gradual increases, and then maybe by fall of 21, are we going to be looking at 70 to maybe a full capacity stadium for high school football? I mean, we certainly hope so. I think personally, it looks like this is a sign of things to come. It looks like we're now in the tail end of this, what feels like a forever marathon that we've been running with this, running circles. It feels like we're going with OSHA, with DeWine, with the coronavirus in general. It feels like we're trying to find answers, and we haven't been able to find them. But it definitely looks like the trend is finally trending upwards. We're getting some good news for the first time, it feels like, in over a year, and we're going to be getting back at least to some sort of normalcy with sports and venues having those beloved faithful crowds in there for their beloved teams come football season. It looks like we're going to have a much larger capacity coming in around fall time.
It's crazy to me because DJ and I were just down in Troy, and they're at a 50% capacity outside. I don't understand why we're not there yet. Obviously, going outside, there's snow on the ground here, so we don't really have to worry about, well, there's not so much snow on the ground today, but it's still pretty cold outside, so we don't have outdoor events going on today up here in Northeast Ohio, but it is coming soon. So, Coach, how are you feeling? We know the money makers at OSHA are really big fans of Governor DeWine's opening up the indoor events too.
Yeah, I honestly, guys, I'm not surprised at all by the timing of this. We're rolling into the heart of basketball tournament season here. If OHSAA had any kind of a hand in this at all, we all knew this was coming. We knew that they were going to make a push for this kind of early spring increase to the numbers, hoping that they could, milk a little bit more money out of these schools and out of these fans in the area too that are desperate to get out and watch their teams play.
Well, Coach, it's weird because in the spring sports, we're not generating all that kind of money. So when you talk about the timing, it specifically hits home for tourney basketball, and it's great that we're finally starting to see some students appearing in some of these games, because before the season, there was no talk about students. It was parents only and limited per tickets. And now we're starting to see that open up, and now we're starting to see some fans in the game. And that's pretty exciting if you're a player. Quinn, what do you think about all these, you're coaching basketball. What do you think about all these fans kind of being in the game and creating that little bit more excitement? Is it good for the team?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's good for the team. I mean, it helps anytime you can play in front of your own, home crowd and get a student section, all that stuff. It helps. In regards to that, I mean, I'm not going to like that as of right now because we're playing on the road tonight. So that's going to be another factor that we have to deal with. But outside of that, I mean, yeah, it's great for all the home teams. Honestly, it's great to allow people coming back in, and it kind of gets us to that normalcy that we're, I guess, searching for, if you will.
So at this rate, what's our expectations of 100%? When are we back to the quote unquote norm? Is it football season? Is it somewhere? Is that kind of where we're heading towards, Jeff?
Yeah, I think it's going to be football season. My thing on is like this. DeWine came out and said he wanted Mahoney. Wasn't it like you said to me, Billy, like Youngstown go back to full, like all day, every day for school, right? Because they do remote on Wednesday. If you're going to do that, why not just have it 100% capacity at inside sporting events, if you want the kids to go back 100% to school, it'd just be easier to just say, okay, we're going to go back to school every day and then go back to 100% capacity.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. If the kids and the students are allowed to mingle and kind of be around in school together, what's the difference between letting them be at the sporting events if they're allowed to be at school every single day?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that.
To kind of highlight too what you said, Billy, about it being a money thing. What was it? Coincidentally, aren't basketball tickets now for a tournament play? Aren't they raised up to around $12? Coincidentally, I don't recall them being that price during the regular season.
$10? Jesus.
It's $10 per ticket for the playoffs for basketball.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever being in the double digits as far as dollars is concerned during the regular season. Just odd that it's up to 10 now for playoff time.
I want to always say it's been $10 for playoff basketball. I could be wrong, but I want to say it always has been that way. I remember it being like 6 and 4 for, like 6 for adults, 4 for students for regular season games, but they've been pretty stern on the $10 for the whole year. Is that right, Quinn? Have they always been $10?
I believe for the playoffs it was always 8 and 6. Because regular season,
that might be right.
6 and 4, like you said. But I think everything jumped up at least $2 this year. I know basketball playoffs this year is 10, and I think it's 10 across the board, no matter what. I think it's just one ticket, $10. That's it. Doesn't matter
now,
if you're a parent.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't that $8, like if you were to go to the Struthers Fieldhouse to watch games, did that cover all the games then that occurred at the Fieldhouse, or did you pay per game that you stayed there and watched?
Both. It used to be where it was one ticket all day would get you in, and then once they started where it was only in Struthers for the district, I think semis and finals, I think that's when they did it where you get one game and then you got to get out, and then they clean it or whatever they do. One comes in.
I was curious on as far as the money they're making, because now it's held in all these different venues, not just in one area. So you're making money from going to this school, this school, this school, this school, all these schools playing home games now instead of at a neutral site. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's always a few that kind of sneak around and don't pay and to get back into the game, especially if it's the people who are taking the tickets or you're at your home stadium, and you're sticking around to play around. So pretty crazy. I think like DJ's been saying for weeks and months, I can't wait to find out how much money they made this year. I really am curious about that. And, it's going to be real interesting to coming out if they profited any type of money and how much did they profit, because it really feels like it's a strange situation for OSHA. And I've not been a huge fan of them all year. And I think most of us here have not been a fan of them. So.
Hey, Chris has it right down there. It was one ticket good for both semifinal games. And I hate to be the resident old guy on the panel here, but man, I remember back in my day being able to go over to the Struthers Fieldhouse, catch 2 semifinal games, for $6 and take a $10 bill with me, get a Coke, get some popcorn, maybe a little bit of that cotton candy they had over there at Struthers, and just enjoy a night of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, my father talked about it for years. This is something I talked about last week. Was I really miss the district championship series? Kind of, you're basically playing there all week, and not only all week, but you got 2 games back to back, and then for some reason, if snow happened or something, you're getting 4 games on a Saturday, which was pretty good. If you lucked out on getting the snowstorm, so. He talked about that for years. He would bounce around from Struthers to Hubbard to Harding to anywhere that they were playing, and then that was his entertainment for the week. And as a high school kid, as maybe somebody who just graduated high school too. So I think that's the part for me is for YSN. That would have been great because we'd have crews at every single event and just kind of hanging tight, and it would just be nonstop action there. So. But here we are in the era of COVID, and everybody gets a home court. I mean, Paul yesterday was talking about how he likes it this way. He likes the opportunity of having a home game, being able to win the district championship on your home game. I don't feel that way. I feel like they took away that mystique of everything's an even playing field. Even if it's not, it feels that way. And it's something special when you were going to, when I played, our district was played at Hubbard, and that was a crazy event. We knew when we went to Hubbard, it was go time. This is where we go. This is our legacy. This is where we win district championships. Here is at Hubbard. So a little bit different this year. So go ahead, Ty.
I guess I just wanted to ask Coach Seidel a question too with this before you move on, if you don't mind, Billy. I'm just curious on talk to me about like the juniors that you have right now that are going into their senior year. Like, what is kind of the feeling going into this now that, you know, there's hope that fans might be full capacity for the stadium, and like, what are your thoughts, I guess, as a coach having full capacity in Sebring games this year, or close to it, I guess?
For sure. You know, the biggest thing is obviously, you know, with football being the biggest generating revenue, you know, source for high school athletics for most schools. I mean, I know there's a few that basketball does better than football, but even in Sebring, where we don't have necessarily the traditional football that some of the other programs have, you know, football's our biggest revenue generator. And so I know from an administrative standpoint, there's a lot of hope that we're going to be able to kind of get back to normal. You know, spend an entire year here basically operating in the red or close to it. And then for the kids, obviously, you know, the opportunity to have more people come out and support them, you know, the ability to kind of create that home field advantage again is something that, you know, you just can't replace.
That's so true. That home field advantage is something big. I'm sure, you know, coaches like Quinn and yourself and everybody kind of felt the loss of that this year of having that true homecoming game where you have guys and parents and kids and adults for years that would come to specific events just because it was a homecoming game, because it was senior night, because it was the opening night, and you missed out on all that excitement this year. So.
Man, you're spot on with that, Billy. And I think, you know, if you're an administrator right now and you're looking at it after a year of COVID and not being able to have fans in the stands, if they open it up to 100% capacity for football season next year, you're missing an opportunity if you don't like make some sort of an event out of the first game of the season. You know, almost if you could make it your homecoming game, because man, we're opening our home back up to everybody that didn't have a chance to be here.
Yeah, it's crazy because when I was as a player, you don't understand all of the logistics of being the coach and how you schedule. Scheduling isn't just putting 10 games together and here you go, or having the conference say, hey, here's your schedule for the league. You know, your non-conference games are huge. You want to put, you know, when I first got into coaching, you know, when I was at New Falls, it was important to put opening night was always going to be a big night because it was opening night. People are going to come watch. So it didn't matter who we played that night, just for the simple fact that people are going to come. Right. And the better you do, you knew that a homecoming was going to be a big night, a generator for revenue. And you knew senior night was going to be a big one because everybody and their grandparents and their families are going to come out to those games to watch and say goodbye to the seniors. Then it was up to, can we put a week 3 game together? Can we put a South Range that's coming in town where they bring a whole bunch of fans to their game because maybe both teams are going to be pretty good. And that's kind of how you start to build maybe something like that where you have an event where you play a maybe not so good team that you traditionally know. That's where you kind of have that event of whether it's some kind of, we used to do what we called a pit crew night where we would have big bonfires and basically a tailgate party for the students and for the parents to kind of come in and tailgate before. And that was our event for a week 3 when weather was still pretty nice and everybody just kind of walked right in and we had a big old thing on it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if schools can take advantage of that for football. It seems like you can get away with a little bit more doing events for a football outing than you can for other traditional sports.
For sure.
All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about NBA because I've been wanting to talk about this, and I'm sure Quinn has some things to say. Kyrie. Oh, here we go. Let's see what Chris. Quite a few schools having prom sign. Yes, great sign. Yeah, that was something that the governor just announced. What was it, yesterday, the day before? That he's now allowing proms. That's pretty cool because a lot of the schools, they didn't have prom last year. Everything got canceled. So it's pretty cool that they're going to have that opportunity to have prom this year. And all of our student athletes, hopefully they don't miss any spring sports for their prom. And as a baseball coach anyway, you know, so they get a chance to have their prom. I know Jeff Bezos, he's a big prom guy, right?
No. No, it was never really.
Jeff, you were on. What do they have? What is the king the court? Is that what they call it?
No, I was
Homecoming
not.
court?
I was not. I was not on the homecoming court at all. I was not on prom. No.
I would have voted for you, Jeff, if you were.
Hey, I voted for myself. So they asked me to vote for somebody for king. I was like, myself.
How many votes? How many votes did you get, Jeff?
I had none. I think I had one vote. It was just me.
That's
Like,
tough, man.
I don't care. Like, I just didn't care. Like, I went to my senior prom by myself. Showed up in a suit. I didn't even go to the prom. Like, I was hanging out with my uncle because it was at the Lake Club, and I was down drinking with him, watching the Kentucky Derby as my mom was going. It's okay. It's okay. It's past. It's past. We're good. And like I was hanging out with him.
Statutes of limitations
were gone at that point. Like I was hanging out with him watching the Kentucky Derby. I wasn't even at my prom. It was going on up top. I'm like, screw it. I ain't going. Like I'm good. Got a suit, got a tux and everything, was dressed up, and I just don't care.
Advisory, anything that Jeff Bezos says on this show is not representative of Euclid Scott Corporation.
So we were a little nervous today because we didn't know who was coming on the show. And for a minute there, I called Jeff and I said, Jeff Quinn's out. He can't make it. He got a big flat tire today. All right.
He did.
It's just me and you, buddy. What are we gonna do?
I was like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but hopefully it's gonna go well.
I can just see it now. DJ's texting us in the middle of the show. What in the world are you guys talking about?
Wait, is that what was in your tire?
Yes.
Holy cow!
That's not good.
The picture can't
get
do
no
it justice
passes here.
But Billy, you have the Power Hour hoodie. You can see it's the entire length of the logo on the hoodie.
Yeah.
So it's every bit of probably 8 inches.
I'm not going to give Quinn a pass because dude was eating a cheeseburger and trying to get the show set up as he's driving the car that just had something to go through your tire. Maybe there's no pass for me here, Quinn.
Jeff,
maybe
that's called being a company man, getting the job done.
Dude, you're just a bad driver. Let's just be honest. You're not paying attention. You're probably texting on your phone, Jeff, and you ran it over.
Even through all that, he was here on time and set it up, and he had some cute little whatchamajiggies at the bottom here to kind of get us going.
See?
Yep, and I use whatchamajiggies as a word.
What's the definition of that word?
Anything I want it to be.
There you go.
Because that's what's a majiggy.
All
right, let's finally move on. Let's talk about Kyrie wants to change the NBA logo. So, when the Jordan special came out, well, first off, Kyrie wants to change the NBA logo to Kobe. Kobe's a great player. Quinn, I know you like Kobe. What do you think? Does it need to be changed? Does it need to be changed to somebody else? Does it Kobe? What?
I mean, that's tough. That's tough for me. I definitely I don't mind the concept of rebranding the NBA, getting a new logo, stuff like that. I don't mind that. I really don't. Because you see it with teams. Teams rebrand all the time. They change colors, jerseys, logos, whatever. And I don't think it's bad. I mean, Jerry West has been open with it. I don't think Jerry West minds a change in it, honestly. As for it being Kobe, maybe. I think there's some people that deserve it a little bit more than him. But I understand it. I respect it given what's happened with Kobe. I hate admitting it, but I think Jordan should be the logo before Kobe does, honestly. But if we're going to rebrand it, I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them, honestly.
Ty, what do you think?
For me, honestly, and I get where Quinn's coming from. I semi-agree with him, but I also hate change. I mean, they messed up the Pringles guy on the can, too. He's completely different now, and I absolutely hate the way the new Pringles guy looks. But, I mean, if you're going to rebrand it to anyone, I mean, if you want to save the argument of having any player, you can just make it anonymous. I mean, look at the way MLB's logo is. You don't know. There's no name behind that. I know there's speculation.
Supposed to be Harmon Killebrew or whatever.
Yeah, they try to say it was Harmon Killebrew, but I mean, it was never, I don't think, confirmed by the MLB that that's who it was. And if it is, that's a terrible person to go off of. But I mean, no, Jerry West has done a lot for NBA, and I mean, I understand going through those transitional periods and rebranding, changing things up. I'd personally go with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hook shot if I'm going to do with any logo rather than anybody else. But if I'm changing
Coach
it,
said, I like that idea. He's nodding his head over here saying, okay. Go ahead, Coach. What do you got?
No, I mean, I understand the thought behind it, why that, of wanting to put Kobe on there. It feels a little bit unnecessary to me. I mean, are we going to change it? How often now? Or are we going to update it to LeBron when he, retires from the league then? Or, like, what are going to be the criteria for when we should rebrand or relogo? I mean, obviously Kobe deserving 100%, grew up with Kobe Bryant in the NBA. Loved seeing it from his time that he got drafted all the way through. Loved the story of the fact that, he only ever played for one team. He was he didn't get, too involved in this whole super team drama that we see now where, Kevin Durant's chasing championships everywhere, and LeBron, the highest bidder can have him, and, as long as they can put a core around him. But it just feels, like, I mean, it's a silhouette. I mean, it's not even like it's an actual picture of somebody. So why do it?
Jeff? Go ahead, Ty. Cut him off.
I'm not meaning to cut you off though, but I guess the question can go to you, Jeff, too. Then, I mean, I'm just curious, if you change the logo, don't you sacrifice a lot of money with brand recognition then? And then don't you sacrifice like maybe a lot of that international flair that they get from, overseas, the Chinese and all the Asian countries, as well as a lot of European countries really getting into NBA now? Do you sacrifice brand recognition?
Kobe had that relationship with China and with Europe, so I can understand it. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who the Jordan brand is too, but if you see Jumpman as the logo of the NBA, I think you know who that is. Hopefully.
Hey, if they want that international flair, they could make it like Dirk or Yao Ming or something.
True.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm gonna go with it. Kobe shouldn't be the logo of the NBA. It should be Larry Bird. He's the best basketball player of all time in my eyes. He had that sweet jumper from Indiana State, dude. Just the greatest basketball player of all time. Put Larry Bird on there. That's just put the Birdman on there. That's all we need is Larry Bird, and everyone would be good.
That's why Larry couldn't stop Kareem's hook, huh?
Dude, Larry had a nasty shot.
Kareem had an unstoppable
I always shot the overhand two-handed shooter. Like that was the Larry Bird.
Beat Michael Jordan for a Big Mac and horse. I don't want to hear it.
That was cheating. Michael Jordan cheated.
Next.
So for me, I have an issue with this because where it's coming from. Kyrie is a weirdo. Okay, first off, like, dude is a space cadet. It wasn't but 2 years ago the guy was out here saying the Earth is flat.
It is flat.
Same guy. Okay, Jeff Bezos and Kyrie Irving are together in this.
Do you think the Earth is round, dude?
Yes.
Nah, man, it's flat.
Science. What else you want me to say?
It's not round, it's spherical, but that's beside the point.
So, the same guy who's over here, the same guy who needs personal time off, the same guy who's putting other things besides his teammates, first, is the guy who's kind of bringing this up. And because of their relationship with Kobe, because his relationship with Kobe was like a brother-father figure almost at times, where I just don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's fine the way it is. I think the NBA is doing a pretty good job. They're basically the second sport in America at this point. Major League Baseball has just been falling behind. The NHL can't really figure it out. They don't have the star power, it seems, to really get, to kind of surpass the MLB or the NBA as of right now. I mean, we know a couple of their NHL stars, and the baseball has the same issue as hockey does. So, but if you're going to pick a symbol to go on, everybody knows the jump man. That, to me, that certifies everything that we want in basketball. That's the greatness you talk about. Kyrie was talking about in his interview is, that's the kind of guy he was drafted out of high school. This was the benchmark. He came out of nowhere. He did this. He did that. This is the standard. I think Mike's the standard because Mike's one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Nobody's sitting here and saying that Kobe is the greatest of all time. Nobody's going to argue that because nobody believes that outside of maybe people who are super fans of Kobe Bryant. Nobody's going to sit here and say Kobe Bryant was better than Michael Jordan. Just not. They're not going to do it. Okay. Everybody knows Mike was the guy, and then Kobe stole all of his moves. Okay. The other thing is it wasn't but a year ago where we watched the documentary in the spring summertime where they were talking all the players were talking about having Mike being the logo for the NBA. Now all of a sudden you're hearing rumblings of I think it's because of the passing of Kobe Bryant, I think that they're trying to, elevate him and keep him into that NBA circle, which he'll always be. He'll always be a part of that NBA family. I don't think it's necessary to put him on the face of the logo.
Yeah,
So,
I applaud the thought behind it, but, it just feels a little unnecessary.
Yeah, I just think, I agree. So we'll see. I will say this: no league has more power as their players do. Players have so much power in the NBA, so it sounds like there's going to be a change at some point because there's just been a lot of talk about it in the last few years, at least, of having a new logo. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition. So another big word for Jeff Bezos.
What was the word again?
All right, what are you guys like talking to each other? You guys are like, hey, look, Max is killing it. He's doing a great job in the host.
No, I'm just trying to find a camera person tonight for Valley Christian.
Quinn and I are texting each other.
Everyone's just texting each other right now.
All right. Why don't we take a break? Let's pay some bills. Quinn, can we do that? Can we go take a break?
Yeah, we could take a quick break, I guess. Whatever makes.
Let's take a break. We're at the halfway mark.
All right, here we go.
Take us away.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Logan.
All right, welcome back. Friday edition of the Power Hour. That was the one thing Quinn said before. I am probably the worst person in the world of doing intros, and I probably forgot to say this is the Welcome to the Power Hour, and I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm going to blame Quinn on that.
Really, it's okay because I played the wrong intro video, so.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. Hey, this is what we're doing today.
When you're juggling onion rings, a burger, water, and running a show, it's tough.
Well, I do have a score update. We have one game right now live on the network at ysnlive.com. That is Youngstown State versus Nicholls State, and Youngstown State has taken the lead in the sixth inning. It is 6-5.
Wow.
So Penguins are leading here, going into it looks like the bottom of the sixth inning. So Nicholls State is up to the plate. Anyway, so hopefully we can pull this. That was Nick Perez started today. So Nick Perez, he was a bullpen guy last week and earned his right to get a start today. And he didn't do so hot. Gave up 5 runs in 3 innings, and now the bullpen's holding it down. So hopefully we can get a bullpen dub and get us on the right start. It's always important to get a dub right off the first game of the weekend. So, and then tonight they got LSU. Tomorrow they got LSU, and then Sunday they got Nicholls State again. So nice 4-game trip for them. Tonight they'll be here on the network, and I think you can also see them in SEC network, but we don't care about them. So,
man, did you guys see that Hall of Fame tour that DJ
did last night? Yeah, that was cool. That was super
awesome.
cool. That was awesome. It just wow. Just the former players alone and their jerseys, it's quite impressive. I mean, LSU has a long history of not only just winning national championships, but just the players that they produce at the next level, at the high level. You got some Hall of Famers in there and some World Series champions too. So that's pretty sweet. And they got a gorgeous field.
That's on the have to visit list now. I mean, just seeing it on video, it's like, if you're a sports fan, how could you not want to go see that?
And you really only saw the baseball side of it. Just imagine if they did that for baseball, what do you think their football Hall of Fame looks like? What do you think their basketball with Shaquille O'Neal in there? He also played. I mean, Quinn knows that. Big Shaq played for LSU. Back in the blue chips era.
Hey, all you got to do is put purple and gold anywhere, and Coach Seidel's going to be there.
100% in on it, man.
Well, let's transition here to football because another top 5 quarterback is up on the trading block, even though DJ Yokley does not think that his real top 5 has a gold and black person in there. That is not true. But Russell Wilson coming out tweeting yesterday saying, hey, there's only 4 teams I'll go to. I think one was the Dallas Cowboys. He mentioned the Chicago Bears and
Dolphins.
Saints and Dolphins. So
I think Oakland. Wasn't Oakland on that list?
Yeah, Oakland was on there.
So there was 5. I lied. Research denied. But yeah. So what do you think, man? 2 top 5 quarterbacks up to be one out of their situation. This is in their prime. This is never heard from before. This is not the NFL that I remember. What do you think, Coach? Go right to the coach on this one.
Yeah, starting to feel a little bit NBA-esque here, getting that feel of the players that are just kind of in control and being able to decide where they want to go and who they want to go play for. Not necessarily a terrible thing, because I do think it's important for players to have the ability a little bit to dictate where they go. Just as long as it doesn't turn into the super teams like the NBA has. With Russ, I think that's a really interesting situation. And, it's a little bit different than like a Deshaun Watson situation, because Russ is coming up, not in Tom Brady terms, but, he's coming up towards the end of his career here, the later stages of it. He's kind of been there, done that. You wonder how many miles are left on those tires, how much ability he's still got to, come in and take a team right away. The Dolphins could be an interesting fit there. I'm honestly really intrigued by the Chicago Bears fit. I think that could be a really interesting fit with Russ.
So where do you like him? I guess that's the key. To me, the Saints are out because they're so far over cap. They'll never be able to wiggle out of that to get a guy like Russell Wilson. And they're going to have to sell off a whole bunch of players. And they went and got Jamal Adams, and they gave up 2 first-round draft picks for him. So they're in desperate need of getting young players back, but not only that, but draft capital. I don't think the Saints are the team that they're going to end up being at, although I would love to see him in a Saints uniform. Ty, where do you think? Where's he headed to?
For me, I mean, I like him with Oakland. I like Oakland's offensive line that they had in front of him. If he has good protection, he's got some good young receivers there in Oakland. Also, I think in top 15 in picks, I think they were projected to get Devonta Smith on top of already having Ruggs. So you got these two fast receivers that could really do. You could just run streak routes almost on guys and just see if they could beat them on the outside. Russ has the arm for it, and he'll have the protection. Oakland, I mean, as much as I do think Derek Carr is an okay quarterback, I don't think he's going to get it done in Oakland the way that Russell Wilson will get it done. And I don't know where Oakland sits on the cap space. I don't know how much they have available. They might be a little bit in the negative, actually. But, I mean, with some good draft picks, you're going to get a top 10 pick out of this. You could bolster some offensive weapons around him. I like him in Oakland, honestly, a lot. It's just all about what Oakland can give up to get Russell Wilson is the big question, I guess.
I did see today that if Gruden, it's up to Gruden, because if Gruden has almost complete control over that organization with that 10-year contract, he's the guy. He's the guy that's recruiting all these guys. Maylock is a fake GM to me. It's all about Gruden. I don't care what anybody else says, but if Gruden wants him, I think that they can figure a way out to make that happen. And I think Paul would be real excited to hear if Russell Wilson got there. Jeff. I hate to go to you on this one. What do you think? If you say Detroit, we're going to mute you.
He's not going to Detroit. He's not going anywhere. I don't think
stay put.
He's going to stay put. The thing was that was his like team coming out and saying it like he wants to be traded, and obviously he does. But Russ did come out and like follow up with that was like, I will still be a Seahawk if I don't get traded. Like if I won't get traded, I will play the season. I don't think he's going to move. Like Deshaun Watson's the same way. They have no leverage. The Texans have no leverage in this situation. They gave it already up that he wants traded out, and they're not really a surprise.
Deshaun Watson will not play this year. It is under different circumstances.
Well, he just met with the coach and the new coach and the new GM,
and he said, "I still want traded."
Yeah.
He came out and said that yesterday. He says, even though I met with the coach, I want out of here. He has an issue with upper management. That was the issue with him. He feels disrespected. He was supposed to be, as coach already kind of alluded to, was he wants to be in that mix. He wants to have that conversation. He wants to feel like most quarterbacks who get the benefit of the doubt of when they're bringing guys in and coaches in and they have that conversation with. And he was promised that, and he was lied to. And that's kind of how he feels. So he wants out. He's not playing this year for Houston. And Houston needs to go ahead and understand that and go ahead and move the guy, because he's not going to dress up this year. He will sit out till the last 6 weeks, show up and be the backup quarterback and still get paid. Quinn?
It's as much as I want to see both of them move, I don't think Wilson will. I kind of agree with Jeff. I kind of want to see them both in Cleveland, to be honest with you as well, but that's a whole different discussion. If I had to predict where they're going to go, I'm going to say Wilson will go to the Dolphins and Watson will go to the Jets.
Watson to the Jets.
Yes.
Why would he go to why is everyone saying the Jets for him?
Cap space.
Cap space,
but they're
good situation to be in, far away from.
And if you're going to the Dolphins, they have to trade Tua then, right? Tua's got to be part of that package. There's no point.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Darnold will be on the move and draft picks.
Yeah, you probably do Tua and 2 first-rounders for Russell.
Unless Miami just gives back Houston all of its picks that they traded to him in the first place. Or gives Miami's picks to Houston and keeps Houston's picks, however that one would work.
To me, there's no chance. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still real interested in that Bears situation just because there's such a good defense there already. And to me, that's why it made sense with Russell Wilson is because
what would they have to give up, Coach? Because
I think that you could, obviously, I mean, you're going to put Trubisky into the package, but I think that you could probably get it done at this point in his career for some picks. Because if Seattle is going to pull the trigger on this and make it happen, they're in full rebuild mode at that point. And, I think it's probably the end of the Pete Carroll era at that point. And you're probably looking at, a 3 to 5 year rebuild process.
As far as picks go,
Rocket too.
It probably would make sense. I mean, if you're going to trade Russell Wilson away,
Russell Wilson's 32.
Yeah.
So he's getting up there. He's like up there.
Chicago, do they have first round picks available, or do they have them now? All those that went to for the Mac trade.
That's a good question. I know they've got $7 million in cap space. Before
they have all their picks. That's already been done. That was already the Mac trade's already played itself out.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely an interesting scenario there too, because I do think Allen Robinson is also a really good receiver, and I think the right quarterback behind center really can make or break him being a great receiver instead of a good one.
Yeah, they got a good line and a pretty good running back too in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Chicago is a team that is without Aaron Rodgers in that division. That division is probably the Bears all day, and then
that's all.
No, fair. I think they're under the cap, aren't they? Or are they under the cap or are they over the cap? I think
they're under. They're under. I think they can afford one of those two, depending on. I mean, the trade with Wilson can probably clear up some more cap to make it work if they wanted to sign J.J. Watt, of course.
Dude, yeah, J.J. Watt's going to Lambeau.
I don't see them.
Well, they'll probably have to do if the word gets out that they're in the hunt and they have a real shot. They're going to do some things like Carolina's doing right now, which is dumping some salary to make all this work. You know how this goes. NFL teams are talking behind the scenes. Hey, we got a deal, handshake deal, but I got to dump this cap first. So, and then at that point, you never know what could happen behind the scenes. Another team could jump in there, but I'm sure that they'll probably find a way to dump some cap in there. Sure, they got plenty of guys in there that they can restructure. The NFL is a weird thing, so that they can restructure almost at any time. I watched this thing this morning about with Dak Prescott signing him and then letting him restructure every other year to could sign him for $40 million this year, and then next year he could be only making $22 million on the cap. So I don't know how they do it. They got some weird things. That's why I like baseball. It's a definite. You're making this. This is what it is. There's no cap, but same thing kind of with basketball. You don't see basketball guys restructuring their deals halfway through their contract. So,
do you think if you're Houston and you can't trade Deshaun, would you just cut him?
No,
because you're going to lose so much in cap space, and you're going to have you're going to get a huge cap hit. Okay. Which is why you want to trade him.
He might not sit out the whole year. He might just be like halfway through the year, just say, it's screw this. I'm going to play anyway.
Well, he just hurting himself at that point. If the Texans say, fine, you'll just be on our cap space, but you could sit on the damn bench then.
Well,
I don't know, man. There's a lot of teams. If he comes back, he's got 6 weeks. He's got to play 6 weeks to earn his full salary. Now, his incentives he won't get, but he's got for the team to pay him. And I think even if he came and sat and was like, hey, I'm not playing, I'm just here for – he'll take some character hits, but there's going to be enough teams out there that are still going to want him, and that's all he wants is he wants out. He wants out. He's been very verbal about that, and
if he sits out the whole year, it's like I think I said it about a couple weeks ago is that he gets fined $52 million a day.
That's a lot of money a day. It's not going to be $52 million a day.
I think it was that.
No,
I think it's that though.
50,000. Probably not
$52 million. Was his contract even that much? I don't think his rookie contract for 4 years or 5 years was that much.
Oh, he restructured his contract. He just got paid a couple years ago.
Yeah, right, he did.
It's $125 million or something.
Time for $1 trillion.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to YSN stuff here. All right, we got some games on the network tonight that you can purchase for $9.99 outside of the Youngstown State games. So tonight at 6:45 starts us off. Struthers versus Geneva. I think Geneva has that, right, Quinn? Offhand?
The Struthers School, I think, is doing that one actually.
Struthers School has that, so you can check that. All these games. Yeah, every game you can have is on the network. So, Cardinal Mooney versus Middle Ridge Boys basketball game in tournament action. Cheney versus Edgewood, and that's going to be on the network. Heartland Christian versus Matthews. Big game for Jeff and I here. We couldn't do tonight. But LeBray versus Crestview boys. That game is at LeBray. And Lowville versus Brookfield, 7 o'clock tip-off. McDonald versus St. John's. Is McDonald School doing their Quinn?
Yes. Yes.
So that's on the network. And Newton Falls versus Liberty, that's going to be a YouTube thing. We'll also have that on the network. Poland versus Lakeview. Salem versus Louisville. All these games are here on Outer at 7. Sebring versus Jackson Milton. Coach Seidel will be there, right? Right, Coach?
That's right.
Holding it down. Hopefully another. I don't know if you want to call it an upset team. They got to be one of the hottest teams in my mind when you finish a couple games like that. Springfield versus Campbell. Boys basketball. Ursuline versus Canfield. This is a good matchup here tonight for the boys in green and gold. Valley Christian versus Wyndham. Warren JFK versus Lake Center Christian boys. I have never heard of them. Quinn, do you know anything about those guys? Lake Center Christian?
They're out by Kent. They're in Hartville. They just beat Latonia last round in the playoffs. They're a good team. They got some good size and a couple good guards. It's going to be a good game.
All right. Waterloo versus Jefferson tonight. Wellsville versus Lisbon. West Branch versus Marlington. And, of course, at 8 o'clock, you can get some baseball. If you had too much basketball on the docket here tonight, you can check out Youngstown State versus LSU baseball at 8 o'clock on the network. That is not part of the $9.99. You can catch that both at ysnlive.com. Go under live games. So what games looking forward here tonight, Quinn? Anything? You got a game, too? Or are you off?
Lisbon-Wellsville. That's all I care about.
Yeah, what about okay, talk about all right, we'll talk about your game. What do you expect tonight in your game?
That's all I care about, Lisbon-Wellsville. Well, it's a conference game. Not often do we get to play a conference game in the playoffs. But I mean, it's a sectional championship game. I think all these games are sectional championships at this point. So I mean, we're trying to put a number on the board, win a sectional, move on to the district semis, and hope for the best. Wellsville's got some really talented players. Lucas Green can shoot the rock better than pretty much anybody I've seen lately. Isaiah Greathouse, great player, attacks the rim hard, and Jackson Brewer is going to go 100 miles an hour and attack the glass hard offensively and defensively. So we got to know where they're at. We're confident, prepared, ready to go. So I'm excited.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, and you know, I would hate this if somebody did this to me as a coach, but I'm going to do it to you anyway. If we do this, we win. Go.
It would be if we locate where Green is at all times, find him as a shooter, know where he's at, box out Brewer, and handle the press. Handle Wellsville's press. They do a great job pressing. Coach Thompson does a fantastic job getting them ready to go. So just handle the press, find Brewer, box him out, and locate shooters.
I tell you what, that was a coach's answer if I've ever heard one, and I really appreciate it. That was a good job. Jeff, since you're over there golf clapping, game of the night you're looking forward to? Are you doing a game tonight? Where are you at?
I'm doing Valley Christian and Wyndham. Valley Christian's going to win by 75,000 points tonight because there's no way Wyndham can keep up. So they should Wyndham should just what happened to Quinn, just get a blown tire on the bus on the way to the game and be like, "Hey, we ain't showing up tonight. So sorry, dudes, ain't playing around here." Yeah, Valley Christian. I'm excited to watch them. They just go tough. They have like 6'3", 6'4" up top, and there's a kid like 250. Is that right? Like he's like 6'4", 250, and I'm like, this kid's awesome. And then they have a kid named Joey Batts, so it's like I'm pretty cool with that.
It's a good shooter.
Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna watch him drain threes from the Eagles' nest all night, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, I know he's probably doing 4 games tonight at one location. So, what game you got tonight, Ty?
We got Waterloo and Jefferson, and I'll go a little bit softer on this one because we got 2 YSN schools tonight. Jefferson kind of been struggling to find some sort of consistency. I believe they were 8-9. They finished the regular season with. They came off of a big win against Grand Valley, so they're coming in trying to find that consistency. But with Waterloo, I mean, the excitement starts and ends with Kyle Shockley. I mean, we had the wonderful Quinn playing the Baird brothers, big dogs of the Valley for the beginning. We'll just say that was him trying to remind you to go out there and vote. But I mean, that is definitely my vote. My vote for the boys player of the year is definitely Kyle Shockley. And I've seen a lot of talent, but this kid, he's something special. He can do incredible things with the ball handling, his ball handling ability, his dribbling ability, his driving, his shooting. Does a lot of things well. So it's going to be for Jefferson, it's all about how much can you contain Shockley down low from the perimeter, and kind of what Quinn said. You wanted a coach's answer. I mean, I guess if that's Jefferson's MO tonight, is you got to locate and find Shockley and try to limit him as much as you can. But he has a knack of getting loose and running up the score on you.
You know, I knew Brandon was going to show up on the show when Jeff's bombed the Bombers. I just knew it. I knew it. I knew he was waiting in the wings. He was waiting there.
It's okay. Hey, Brandon, right? It's all right. It's all right. It's cool. You know what? That's, maybe, be a little bit better. Maybe prove me wrong. It's like you did with LeBron.
Billy McIntyre giving you motivation. I feel it.
It's motivating Wyndham to try to show up, because the last Wyndham game I did,
Jeff Bezos, also known as Max Squared, he tries to steal all my stuff. The cigars, the hot tubs, and now he's stealing my coming at schools bit. I love you, Jeff. Ty.
Bottom left box is getting a lot of love today too.
As it should.
I got to throw a thank you to Dalton there. That's my strength coach, Dalton Smith, probably the best strength coach in the area.
I have no doubt in that, especially coming from a guy who's so strong. Ty, you got all kinds of, you've done all these schools here, it seems like. If you're picking out a game tonight for the fans, hey, if you're a casual fan, what game should you go? Why should you buy the network tonight? To specifically watch this game, not to mention, you're talking about value. You're getting a whole bunch of games tonight on the docket for YSN. But what game specifically do you like out of here tonight?
Oh, boy, there's so many games. I mean, I could highlight probably a few for you right now. LeBray versus Crestview, that's going to be a great matchup between two great boys basketball programs that they're going to battle that one out. I don't know. I mean, Crestview is obviously the higher seed on that one, but LeBray, they're one of the tougher teams, I think, in competition. They're very resilient too, so don't be surprised. There might be an upset alert down there with Crestview. Another game too, Cardinal Mooney, Mineral Ridge. That looks to be another game that might surprise some people too. Mooney has a pretty good program over there as well. And I mean, record wise, people look at records. You throw those out in the playoffs. Sebring versus Jackson Milton. I think it's going to be a really good matchup too. Coach Seidel is going to be there for that one. Sebring with that big walk-off shot over Springfield, one of the better teams too, I would say, in the area, coming in with a lot of momentum. And of course, Jackson Milton coming off of a win against their rival Western Reserve in their last playoff game. I think this is going to be a close matchup with two teams coming in with a lot of momentum. And, that's a toss-up game for me. I don't know who's coming out victorious in that one. It could really be either team. And I mean, there's Salem versus Louisville is another good one. There's so many good basketball matchups now that we're getting later into the playoffs now. All the more reason to tune in, because there's so many good matchups. $9.99, you get to see all these great games flip back and forth between them. A lot of good matchups. I mean, I wouldn't scoff at tonight for basketball in the area.
Coach Seidel, tonight you're going to be at Jackson Milton with the Sebring Trojans come to town to play the Blue Jays of Jackson Milton. Talk about that for a minute here.
Yeah, two teams that were pretty evenly matched in the first two matchups. Milton obviously got the better of the two matchups during the regular season, but that second meeting especially was one that was interesting to me. The Trojans get down by 20 there early. First half, and then come back to make it a one-possession game going down to the wire. Big keys to the game, obviously, for Sebring, being able to limit A.J. Bausch down low, making him less effective as a block player and forcing him kind of out into the mid-post area. And then obviously containing Cole Grope, too. Just an unbelievable job the other night when Ty and I were there, of being the real spark plug for that team, getting them going when they were, down 14, 15 nothing at one point, 16-3, to come back and get that victory. But, I look at tonight and, man, if you're not subscribing tonight, you're just not into basketball, because when you run down that list of games, right away, you could go watch the horses, you could go watch the McDonald's, the Struthers, the Cheneys of the world. But I think that there's 5 really good matchups on there. I marked them down. I think that Canfield Ursuline game is going to be better than most people expect it to be. A 10-5 matchup. And if we've learned anything from NCAA basketball over the years, that 10-5 game is always a good game. Louisville versus Salem, two teams that formerly in the EBC together. Traditionally, not a lot of love lost there. That could be a really good 9-7 game. South Range and Garfield, I think, is another game. That's a 9-8, pretty evenly matched teams there. Could be an interesting game to watch. And then obviously, a little bit of a homer pick. I'm pulling for Quinn and Lisbon down there against Wellsville, and I'm looking forward to watching this Sebring Jackson Milton game. But I'm with Ty. I think that Ridge Moody game could really surprise some people. Ridge is a team, out of the MVAC that they've been up and down this season, but when they put it together, they've got guys like Dalen Royal Island that can really fill up the stat sheet quick.
All right, Coach, that's a whole bunch there. I like it. I dig it, man. I dig it. I think you're right on. There's a whole bunch of games. If you're not a subscriber tonight, then you're really missing out on too many games. So last thing, it's our famous filet or beef. And G. Burbick Farms, what's your beef? So let's go to Ty Bartell, who's been chomping at the bit here to do a beef or filet.
My beef's with myself. Having some poor time management skills the last few days. I need to get some stuff done for other areas as well. I still got a few days to do them, but I've been kind of procrastinating on it. That's kind of my one downfall is I tend to procrastinate things from time to time. So definitely with myself, need to get on the horse, need to get focused up, need to get some stuff done tonight after the game. So
very good, Coach Seidel. What's your beef?
I'm going filet today, and my filet is just this basketball schedule for tonight. The lineup on YSN. I think you're crazy not to pay the $9.99 tonight and get that. And, see a bunch of really good basketball games for sectional championships tonight.
Jeff Bezos, wake up over there.
I'm up. I'm a bit awake. What are you talking about?
What's your beef?
My beef's is with Quinn. Everybody, I'm glad you're okay, Quinn. I want to say this. Just glad that you are all right. But, maybe you should pay attention a little bit better. That's why you That's why you ran that thing over and got something punctured into your tire because you were eating and trying to set up the show. We appreciate you setting up the show. But my beef's with Quinn. He's just got to get better at driving, not paying attention, not running things over.
Jeff, have you ever heard of a thing called karma?
Yeah, it's going to happen to me. Trust me, I know. It's going to happen.
Okay. Quinn,
I don't believe in karma. Karma's not real.
Jeff, guess what, buddy? Beef is you.
All right, cool.
You.
I love you.
Karma will get you. Have fun in Valley tonight. Don't come calling me when you get stuck there. I'm not coming to help you.
I'm not going to get stuck. My car's going to run beautifully fine.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye. Phone died again. That's what he pulled out yesterday.
I got the power today. I got the power, buddy.
Mine's a filet. We'll just say Kate. We had a great couple days, and in the process, when I was down in Alabama, she was able to find me a PS5. So that's kind of what I've been doing the past, say, 26 hours or so. Kind of jamming out on the new PS5, but. So that's my filet for the day. Nothing too crazy. Hopefully I didn't scare off too many people and holding the fort down for DJ Oakley down there. The Penguins are now down 7-6. So hopefully they can turn that around. I think they're in the 7th or 8th inning here. And hey, tonight, watch the games. Go out there, support your school. Pay the $9.99. It's a great deal. Value, you're not going to get a better buck. Like we said earlier, $10 to get into a game, and for $9.99, penny off, you're getting all the games that we have on the network, and there's a whole bunch. So go out there, support YSN, support your school. Go to ysnlive.com, live games, and find the game that you want to watch. So that's going to do it for us for this week. We'll be back Monday. Thank you.